A healthy dad of 2 has tragically died after drinking the equivalent of hundreds of cups of coffee in a miscalculation of how much caffeine he was consuming, an inquest heard today. Thomas Anthony Mansfield, age 29, from Colwyn Bay in North Wales, passed away on January 5, 2021, after being confused about the amount of caffeine in his pre-workout drink. Mr. Mansfield, who worked as a security guard and a personal trainer, consumed powder from Blackburn Distributions, a UK-based sport supplement company. North Wales Live reports. The recommended serving for the caffeine powder, as stated on the packaging at the time, is between 60 to 300 milligrams twice a day. However, the digital scale used by Mr. Mansfield to measure the powder had a starting weight of 2 g, which was several times the maximum amount of a single serving of the caffeine powder, the inquest heard at Ruthin County Hall on Tuesday. John Gittins, senior coroner for North Wales East and Central, heard that Mr. Mansfield was likely aiming for a mid-range serving when attempting to measure the powder but instead consumed too much of the supplement. Mr. Mansfield was a security guard and a personal trainer, Image, Wales News Service. In a statement, Mr. Mansfield's widow, Susanna, said her late husband was really healthy and would normally drink no more than 2 cups of coffee a day. She said that her husband necked the remainder of the drink after taking a sip and began clutching his chest shortly afterwards before lying down on the. Moments later, she saw him frothing at the mouth and ran out of the house in order to seek help from her neighbors and family members who lived nearby. An ambulance arrived on the scene within minutes and the crew used a defibrillator due to Mr. Mansfield's grossly abnormal heart rhythm as he had gone into cardiac arrest. He accidentally made a mixture containing 7 times the recommended dose, Image, Wales News Service. Mr. Mansfield was a security guard and a personal trainer, Image, Wales News Service. He was then taken to hospital where resuscitation attempts were eventually stopped at 4 p.m. and the 29-year-old was pronounced dead. Following a post-mortem examination, a medical cause of death of caffeine toxicity was given as Mr. Mansfield was found to have 392 milligrams of caffeine per liter of blood, the coroner heard. Caffeine toxicity can be caused by levels at 78 milligrams per liter of blood or higher. In his conclusion, Mr. Gittins recorded Mr. Mansfield's death as misadventure due to the unintended result of his own actions in consuming the caffeine powder. Mr. Gittins added that he has since been massively reassured that action has been taken to help prevent similar cases from occurring in the future with this brand of caffeine powder due to the provision of a scoop and an A4 instruction sheet in all new packets. Had these scoops been provided at the time, Mr. Mansfield would likely still be alive today, the coroner said in his conclusion. Personal trainer Thomas Mansfield, 29, suffered a suspected caffeine overdose after ingesting the shake at his home, Image, Wales News Service. The instructions and warnings on the caffeine powder packet was not in breach of regulations at the time, the coroner heard. Thomas and Susanna have 2 children together, Tommy and Millie, and well-wishers rallied round to fundraise for the family following Tom's death. Writing on social media, Susie said she was absolutely heartbroken by the tragedy. She said, "My world has been ripped apart and my kids have lost their daddy. I've lost the love of my life. Tom passed away at the hospital, the family tried so hard but it wasn't enough. He was my whole life, I'll never get over this. You were my life, Tom. I am missing you so much and trying so hard for the kids keep it together. I love you more than I could love anyone, I'll always love you." Read more. Driver killed boy, 10, by knocking his bike into ditch after trying to overtake. Read more. Son's tribute to 1 in a million mum of 3 murdered in Britain's poshest village.